Hi guys, it is April from Getting Hookah With It. Today I want to chat with you about the top 5 books that I read in winter. I actually had a not so fantastic season of reading, but I did read some gems and I want to share with you what those were. So let's get into it. I'm going in and I did not expect to enjoy this book, strangely enough. Educated by Tara Westover. This woman had a real doozy of a childhood. This is about Tara Westover's real life. It's nonfiction, and it's about her growing up kind of on the outskirts of society in a way, because she literally lived in the country. She didn't go to school, and her parents didn't believe in medicine. And here are a couple of things. I do worry that people are going to pick up this book and be like, homeschooling is bad, and also, natural medicine is bad. And I hope that people don't do that. She had a very extreme, strange situation. She wasn't actually homeschooled. Her parents taught her how to read. That was it. That was all you needed. Everything else was completely unnecessary. And also, there were so many major accidents that happened in this book that you should go to the hospital. If you've been in a car crash and you are irrational and your brain has been injured, you should go to the hospital. That should be encouraged. So there was a lot of very extreme things in here that happened. I think what hit me hardest in here was the abuse that she received from her older brother, Sean. It was tragic and so hard, and I could just see it all happening the way she described it. I've never read about abuse in that way. I've read about domestic abuse. I've read about, parents abusing their children, but I've never read about sibling abuse, and this is the first time. And it's so similar to domestic abuse. It really upset me and was so well written, and just must have been really, really hard for her to go through that. One thing I also found with this book is at the beginning, she's talking about her childhood in a very kind of standoffish way, it's separate from her in a way. And I think she did that because that's how she coped with it when she was a child. And then as it goes on, she's much more reflective and is able to say, this was a terrible thing that happened. And at the beginning, I was like, why are you talking about it that way? But I realized as it went on why she wrote it that way, because she thought of it that way when she was a child. So it was really good. I'm glad that I finished it. I gave it 4 stars. Really enjoyed Educated. Okay, so another nonfiction on my list is Becoming by Michelle Obama. This is Michelle Obama's story of her life, and I have been so proud of Booktube lately. Michelle Obama has agreed to sit down with some booktubers. I'm going to link that below. I really enjoyed Ariel Bissett sat down with her and asked her such poignant questions and really meaningful questions. And I really was so proud that Booktube was able to sit down with Michelle Obama, and that even happened. Blew my mind. This book is about Michelle Obama's childhood all the way up through becoming First Lady, also watching Donald Trump come into the White House after. And I really loved this. I like that she, showed her own voice and showed her childhood as being this, fairly wonderful childhood in some ways. Her dad was sick, but he never really showed it. he like moved on with his life anyway, and yeah, they might not have had a lot of things, but there was a lot of love in this family, and these parents raised some really stand-up kids. Like, they held them accountable and just encouraged them to know within yourself what's right and wrong. I took a lot of parental cues from Michelle Obama's mom in this. I really liked her parenting style. So I loved this. I mean, everyone's read it at this point. I listened to it on audio. The audio is read by Michelle Obama, so I so encourage you to listen to it on audio. I really enjoyed it. Oh, I gave it 4 stars. Okay, another book that I really enjoyed, which surprises me so much, is Pet Sematary by Stephen King. I gave this 4 stars. I had read It by Stephen King, and I found it incredibly wordy. And like kind of went off on tangents and stuff. There was a scene in there that I was like, I can't give this anything over 3 because it upset me so much. But Pet Sematary, oh man, I really liked it. This is about a family that moves to a new town. The dad is a doctor, and he's like, I have this opportunity to be a doctor in this town, and it's great. So they move to this new home that's on a very busy road. There are lots of trucks that go down that road. They meet a neighbor, and the neighbor says, you know, you got to be careful on this road. You got to watch your kids and your pets. And there is a pet cemetery close by to the home that the neighbor shows them. And he says, you know, because a lot of animals get hit here, this is the pet cemetery. In any case, basically the story is that when you bury your pet just beyond the pet cemetery, they'll come back to life, but they'll come back to life very differently than they originally were. So their character is very different. They're kind of zombie-like, but they don't eat people. And I just really liked it. I thought this was much more deep than I thought it would be. It really is about grief and what you do and what you want to do when you are in deep, deep grief. I thought it was really great, and I really enjoyed it. So I gave it 4 stars, and at this point I'm like, I don't even know how I feel about Stephen King. I think I might read more of his earlier stuff, like Misery I might want to read, even Dolores Claiborne I might want to read. I want to read his earlier stuff now because I feel like I enjoy that more, but we'll see. I know that Stephen King for me is going to be hit or miss, but I really liked Pet Sematary, and now the movie is coming out really soon. I'm so excited. Okay, another horror that made the list for sure was My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. This was my first Grady Hendrix, and it was so much fun. This is about 2 girls who like are just the best of friends. One day they go to this cottage. One of their friends has this little cabin. They're all outside. One of the friends gets lost in the woods, stays overnight in the woods. They can't find her, and she comes back possessed. And I thought it was like funny and also like kind of gruesome at times, but I really, really liked it. It brings you so back to the like 80s, 90s stuff. Oh man, I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun for me. This brought me back in a way that like I thought maybe Ready Player One would have, but I wasn't a gamer, and you guys know how I felt about Ready Player One. Yeah, I loved My Best Friend's Exorcism. I gave that one 4 stars as well. So I've only got 1 5-star. I think I only had 1 5-star for all of winter. But oh man, it was worth it. Washington Black. Canadian fiction. Yes, this was fantastic. This is about a young boy, a young black boy named Washington Black. He lives in the South during slavery, and he has a very difficult life. He meets a man who is a bit of an abolitionist, but also isn't. It's such a complicated person. He has very good intentions. He's this white man with good intentions, but he doesn't follow through very well. He doesn't know that his actions can actually really hurt. So Washington Black and Christopher Wilde is the white man's name. They go on all sorts of adventures together. They go to the Arctic. They're literally all over the world. And it is about this little boy's experience with it. And I just thought this was so well written. This is the type of book that you sit with afterwards and think about. A lot of abolitionists, white abolitionists, are very much painted as these perfect people who did this very noble thing. And some of them were, but I like that this painted a slightly different picture of a white abolitionist who has good intentions but really screws up and still is not able to look at a black person and truly look at them as equal. And I just thought it was so well done. It was so sensitive to that relationship. Man, this was good. So those were the absolute best books that I read this winter. So many good ones. Let me know in the comments below what the very best book you read this winter was. I would love to know, and I'll talk with you soon. Okay, bye guys.